After 1,000 years of seclusion in the blessed land of Dongtian, Jiang Zixiu finally passed the era of the end of the Dharma. At this moment, his spiritual energy had just begun to recover. As soon as he left the mountain, he collided with a yellow skin that had become a sperm. Jiang Zixiu frowned angrily and said, "Bold demon. Who knew that this scene happened to be captured by an outdoor live streamer? People's hearts are not ancient. Surprisingly bullying an elderly person like this young man. Misty grass. Can this old man fly?" As Jiang Zixiu waved his hand, a thunderbolt fell and the entire live broadcast room instantly exploded. Keywords of the novel. When I was getting rid of demons, I was live-streamed without a pop-up window. When I was getting rid of demons, I was live-streamed with a complete download of the TXT series. When I was getting rid of demons, I was live-streamed with the latest chapters to read. Chapter 1. Huangpi Zi. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 1. Huangpi Zi at night, in a group of abandoned buildings in Nanping County. A young man with jade-like features, long hair hanging down his shoulders, dressed in retro attire, is walking alone on a remote path. His name is Jiang Zixiu. 1,000 years ago, the human world entered the era of the end of the Dharma. In order to maintain his cultivation, Jiang Zixiu chose to avoid the world and entered the blissful world of meditation. This avoidance is 1,000 years of time. It was not until Jiang Zixiu sensed the gradual revival of spiritual energy that he chose to leave the level. I didn't expect the world to change so much over 1,000 years. After gaining a slight understanding of modern society with his divine mind, Jiang Zixiu couldn't help but sigh. At this moment, he suddenly saw a hunched figure by the street lamp ahead, waving at him from afar. Jiang Zixiu raised his eyebrows slightly and said, "Demon." At this moment, he not only did not dodge, but also took the initiative to walk towards the hunched figure. The figure hung down on its face, making it difficult to see clearly. It also wore a straw hat on its head, covering its face even more tightly. "Little brother, do you think I look like a person?" That person's voice was hoarse, as if there was something in his throat, and his speech was very blurry. "Did you blame me for the ban?" Jiang Zixiu did not answer him, but smiled and said, "Sir, are you not afraid of encountering danger when you are alone outside at night?" "Hey, do you think I look like a person?" Under the old man's straw hat, his pupils turn green. A wind suddenly rises. At the same time, a young and beautiful girl walked from a distance, holding a selfie stick in her hand and saying something to her phone screen. "Hello everyone, I am currently on Tongshui Road in Nanping County. It is said that many friends have encountered quite supernatural things here." Slowly, this area became abandoned, and everyone saw it along the way. There were basically no people around. "Today, I will take you to see if this is true or false." The girl is an outdoor anchor named Chen Bing. Recently, for some unknown reason, supernatural phenomena have become increasingly frequent in China, so supernatural anchors have become popular. Originally, Chen Bing was a beauty anchor, but now on the internet, just by clicking on a live broadcast room, with the blessing of beauty, her appearance is not bad, so the competition for beauty anchors is very fierce. She didn't want to play the sidelines anymore, so in a fit of anger, she decided to switch careers and become a supernatural anchor. On the phone screen, only scattered bullet comments drifted by, and Chen Bing got used to it. Suddenly, she saw the figures of Jiang Zixiu and the hunched old man, and her eyes lit up. "Good guy, just as I said this place was abandoned, I met two people ahead." Chen Bing took off his phone and replaced it with a rear camera. He aimed it at Jiang Zixiu and the old man and said, "Let me take a closer look. What are they doing here at this point?" "Bold demon." The sudden burst of drinking frightened Chen Bing's hands. At this point, there were also more bullet comments. "Ice sister, I know you just switched careers and became a supernatural anchor hoping to make some big news, but your script is not very good. Isn't that right?" We still believe in a slight touch of the Earth's atmosphere, but this. It's really not my script, probably filming, right? Chen Bing couldn't help but laugh and cry. On the barrage, the audience also discussed upon hearing these words. Filming. It's possible, but where is the camera? When filming, the venue is usually sealed off. How could you get so close? Why don't we go back and see what the hell they're selling? I think. Lying down. How did the old man fly up? I didn't see Weiya either. Chen Bing said helplessly, it's really not the script I arranged. Don't tease me anymore, how could you? Lie down. When she looked up, she blurted out a lying trough sentence. The barrage didn't deceive him. So, the hunched figure with a tattered straw hat really flew up. When Chen Bing looked up, he still didn't forget to lift his phone and aim it at the figure. At the same time, the straw hat fluttered down. The face, originally covered by a hat, was exposed in front of everyone. Surprisingly, it's a furry head. Demon, I can tell at a glance that you're not a human. Jiang Zixiu's face on the ground turned cold. Upon hearing the scolding, Chen Bing instinctively looked over. The barrage has already exploded. Is this really not making a movie? The host replied, what is the situation? Is that a monster on your head? Don't you think it's a bit familiar to say monsters are not monsters? The next sentence should be mighty dragon ... Despite the extremely tense moment, Chen Bing was still amused by the barrage. But soon, the smile disappeared. The audience in the live broadcast room may be skeptical, but she is well aware that there is absolutely no camera or anything like Weiya next to her. The person above my head is really like that, flying straight away. My first time as a supernatural anchor, I didn't expect to encounter this scene, and Chen Bing was completely dumbfounded. The street lights flicker on and off. The lights flickered, the model tree shadows swayed, and a demonic wind blew everywhere. The temperature suddenly dropped. It was clear that summer had already entered, but Chen Bing felt a cold current piercing from the coccyx to the sky. My hair stands on end. Because she noticed that the furry face on her head had become incredibly ferocious at the moment, and there was also a huge tail constantly swaying behind her buttocks. The audience in the live broadcast room were all confused. This is no longer a matter of whether or not Weiya is right. Now live streaming, can we also create such realistic special effects? If it weren't for special effects, what are you waiting for, Anchor? Mom, after watching the Supernatural Anchor for so long, this is the most exciting. Someone, please change my pants. Call the police. What else are you thinking? The anchor should hurry up and leave before the monster notices you. No offense, it's none of my business. The result of the Lingtan live broadcast really hit a monster, instantly driving the audience crazy and spontaneously promoting this live broadcast room. Come live streaming with Shark. There are really monsters in this live streaming room. The popularity of the entire live broadcast room skyrocketed rapidly. More and more viewers are flocking to the live broadcast room. Chen Bing experienced the feeling of being hit by a barrage for the first time. If it harms my cultivation, I want you to die. The sound of the monster floating in the air was sharp, and countless viewers felt a chill in their hearts, their faces pale with fear. Even across the screen, she was so frightened, let alone Chen Bing at the scene. She shuddered suddenly and her phone almost fell to the ground. On the other side, Jiang Zixiu's robe moved freely without any fear, and his calm figure alone caught the attention of many viewers. Damn it, who the hell is that person? He's not afraid of this. I almost scared to pee in bed, that sound is so weird. While the water friends were still discussing, Jiang Zixiu moved. Pointing to the pinching technique, he shouted coldly in his mouth, thunder, the command of heaven and earth, observe the chi of heaven and earth, and specialize in killing evil and evil. Drive away thunder and electricity, pray for rain and sunshine, subdue evil spirits, ward off locusts and scrofels, refine ghosts. Fall. The next moment. The sky was thunderous, and the barrage came to an abrupt end. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Revocation of Seals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Revocation of Seals. Thunder filled the sky, and the roar instantly swept away the terrifying atmosphere. Under the majestic sky, the strange aura brought by the monster with a furry head suddenly dissipated. Boom boom. Thunder falls. The purple-blue thunder was like an angry dragon, coming from all over the sky and biting onto the monster's body. The atmosphere in the entire live broadcast room was suddenly ignited. Chen Bing's phone was hit by a barrage, and the audience seemed to be dumbfounded one by one. Misty grass. Did I misread? Did it thunder? Special effects, this is it. The anchor is putting in a lot of effort, just focusing on this scene, even Hollywood blockbusters can't compare. Yeah, although it's fake and outrageous, just relying on this special effect, I think the gift is worth it. Special effects, damn it. I'm also riding horses in Nanping County. The weather was supposed to be good, but just now, it suddenly thundered. Dot. Chen Bing didn't look at the barrage at all. She felt that her entire worldview had been overturned tonight, just staring foolishly at the sky. With a splash. A burnt black object fell down. It is truly a hunched figure that just now still boasted. Is that all for now? Is that right? Is that right? Is that right? I thought it was so fierce. I think, let's not blame him for this. Think about it, how does it feel to be struck by such a rough and spicy thunder? But I can't fly either. Why do you chop me if you have nothing to do? The world is unpredictable. Sometimes, don't be so stubborn. Don't stick your flag up like that, otherwise you can't say for sure. Pooh. Having practiced for thousands of years, summoning wind and rain, driving thunder and lightning, and using electricity are already basic skills. I didn't pay much attention to the fallen Coke Jiangzi. The monsters that can win titles have become the climate, but they are still too fragile in the face of the power of heaven and earth. Hello, you. Jiang Zixiu, who was about to leave, heard a clear female voice coming from behind and couldn't help but turn back to look. Hello, Jiang Zixiu nodded and said calmly, Miss, what's up? Chen Bing, who was originally holding his phone, instinctively put it down when he saw Jiang Zixiu looking back. She didn't know, but the barrage that had just subsided for a while now started flashing again. Is this too handsome? Good guy, I always thought a man with long hair would look very feminine, but this. Anchor, don't put down your phone. Cha do sure. Quick, lift your phone up, I haven't seen it clearly yet. What did I miss just now? Did the anchor run to that expert's side? The revival of spiritual energy in the novel is not deceiving me. I've been feeling powerless these past few days. Could it be a prelude to awakening something? Brother, you're masturbating too much. Don't get off topic, I'll take another look. Where was the little brother just now? Chen Bing didn't even look at the barrage at this moment. My eyes fell on Jiang Zixiu. She never expected that a senior expert who could handle thunder would appear to be around her age in appearance. The most crucial thing is, he looks handsome, sword eyebrows and starry eyes, with a dignified demeanor and long hair that naturally droops over the years. Not only does it not bring any softness, but it only appears incredibly elegant, as if an immortal has descended from the world. Hello, I just wanted to ask, was that? Chen Bing stuttered and said, that person just now, can fly. Did I make a mistake? You didn't read it wrong. However, there's one thing you said wrong. That guy, he's not a human, said Jiang Zixiu, and Chen Bing swallowed his saliva. Even though she had just witnessed such an incredible thing with her own eyes and believed in atheism, upon hearing these words, her heart couldn't help but tremble. Some animals that have achieved success in cultivation want to break through the bottleneck, so they will find an opportunity to ask people questions. If they receive a positive answer, their skills will greatly increase, and vice versa, their skills will decline. Jiang Zixiu explained, that beast is a yellow-skinned person who has become a climate. He came to me to seek a fief. Seeking a fief. Not bad. These animals, if you say he doesn't look like a human and causes him to lose decades of moral integrity, he will inevitably harbor resentment and seek revenge in the future. What if it's similar? Chen Bing couldn't help but ask. Although she put down her phone, the water friends in the live broadcast room could still hear the sound. After hearing the conversation between the two, everyone was very curious. If it's like, then you need to bear the karma generated by that beast. As a mortal, how can you afford it? It's inevitable that there will be an unhappy ending. Chen Bing finally understood why Jiang Zixiu chose to kill him in pain. Sleeping trough. So, if we encounter it, wouldn't it be like we can't do anything and have to bear the blame? What's the point? Saying that it doesn't look like a person will get revenge, and saying that it doesn't end well like a person, this kind of beast is really damn. Humph, judging from that beast's appearance, I don't have a good heart. I deserve to be struck by lightning. So, what would an ordinary person do if they encountered it? Chen Bing swallowed his saliva and unconsciously approached Jiang Zixiu for 2 steps, as if this was the only way to increase some sense of security. Self-proclaimed misfortune, seek help from experts to resolve it. What he didn't know yet was that with the 1000-year end method, there were no more cultivators in the world, and it was extremely difficult to find a master to resolve it. After speaking, Jiang Zixiu was ready to leave. I have said enough today. Mainly because Chen Bing was the first person he met after leaving the mountain, which can be considered a good fate, that's why he said a few more words. This expert. After hesitating for a while, I didn't know how to address Jiang Zixiu. Seeing that Jiang Zixiu was about to leave, Chen Bing quickly chased after him and said, Master, where do you live? In case I encounter anything, I can still contact you. I was originally from the back of the mountain and had no fixed place to live. I was only waiting to find a place with rich spiritual energy to practice. If we had fate, we would meet. Jiang Zixiu waved his hand without looking back. Having no fixed residence. Chen Bing's eyes lit up and he said, Master, since you don't have a place to go at the moment, why don't you come to my house for a while and move out when you find it? Cha du shi. Cha du shi. That's too much. The girl in the live broadcast room immediately had an explosive mentality. People think men are lascivious, but in fact, women are not much different. Who knows how proactive one can be when encountering someone who is handsome. In addition, Jiang Zixiu's current situation is still high. Which girl can resist being greedy? A transcendent exiled immortal, wielding thunder punishment, not only handsome but also exudes a sense of security. Especially Chen Bing, who witnessed Huangpi Zi's ferocious appearance with his own eyes, can now be said to be eager to keep Jiang Zixiu. Stay temporarily. Jiang Zixiu's footsteps paused slightly, and after pondering, he nodded slightly and said, Okay. Over the course of thousands of years, the world has undergone tremendous changes, and even with a slight understanding of modern society, there is still a layer of estrangement. Through communication with people of this era, it is entirely possible for them to integrate perfectly into the current society. This is the reason why Jiang Zixiu agreed. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Purple Chi comes from the east. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Purple Chi comes from the east. After Jiang Zixiu agreed, Chen Bing finally remembered that the live broadcast room had not been closed yet. What I just said was heard by my water friends. At this moment, her face turned red and she hurriedly closed the live broadcast room. Damn it. Indeed, it's exactly what one eats alone. It's outrageous. A group of audience rose to the black screen. Jiang Zixiu looked at Chen Bing, whose cheeks suddenly turned red, puzzled and said, "What's wrong with you?" "No, it's okay." Chen Bing shook his head in a panic. After she finished speaking, she changed the topic and walked home with Jiang Zixiu. The place where Chen Bing lives is a very ordinary old-fashioned community. When Jiang Zixiu arrived at the community, he raised his eyebrows slightly. So coincidental. Although the spiritual energy here cannot be compared to the blessed land of the cave 1,000 years ago, it has already been considered a good spiritual place since the spiritual energy has just begun to recover. Going upstairs, Chen Bing took out the key to open the door and then turned on the light. After following behind her and entering, Jiang Zixiu blinked. "It's really a bit uncomfortable. After seclusion, let's not talk about it. The cave is as big as half a county, and he lives alone. During leisure time, I enjoy admiring flowers and fishing. And before closing down, although the house is not big, at least I bought it myself." After seeing Jiang Zixiu's gaze, Chen Bing felt quite embarrassed and explained, "This is still because Nanping County is relatively biased and the housing prices are not high. You have to make do with it first. Those who can handle thunder, with this skill, may be able to live anywhere they want outside." Jiang Zixiu smiled and said, "It's okay, outsiders don't care about these things. It would be good if his spiritual energy is sufficient to sustain his cultivation. The cave is blessed with isolation from the world, making it difficult to communicate with heaven and earth. Otherwise, for thousands of years, the realm of Jiang Zixiu would have been able to overcome the calamity. What he needs to do now is slowly exhale spiritual energy and restore his state to its peak first." Chen Bing's house has 2 bedrooms and 1 living room, with the second bedroom always empty. That night was very calm. Just Chen Bing woke up with a start shortly after falling asleep. "What happened at night has been lingering in my mind, tossing and turning, and sweating profusely. In the middle of the night, I felt embarrassed to knock on Jiang Zixiu's door, so I decided to open the live broadcast. I thought there were very few viewers, but after a few hours, when she went online again, the number of people online skyrocketed to over 30,000. Why so many people?" Chen Bing was surprised. "Nonsense, who can sleep? Hundreds of thousands of fans, only 30,000 online, not much." After seeing this barrage, Chen Bing was completely stunned. After taking a look at the number of fans, as expected, 420,000. Before this, her fans had only a few thousand. That is to say, all of them rose tonight. To be honest, wasn't that really the special effects and script just now? I came here admiring the name, and after watching the replay, I was completely dumbfounded, seeking a reasonable explanation. Is that expert still at the anchor's house? I've been encountering some cult lately and would like to ask the anchor to contact me to see if it can be resolved. 10 large rockets flew by. Chen Bing blinked with a feeling of being flattered. As a lukewarm little anchor, she had never seen such a scene before. "Sorry, the expert should have already fallen asleep, and I'm sorry to disturb you. How about I help you ask tomorrow?" Chen Bing asked. "Tomorrow. That's okay. Don't forget, anchor." Just now, Tu Hao, who angrily brushed 10 rockets, was slightly disappointed, but he didn't force it either. And other viewers keenly grasped the key points. "Did you sleep? Sorry to bother you. Sleeping in bed. Anchor, did you really take someone home? Envy. Recently, there have been quite a few supernatural phenomena. With such an expert at home, I feel a great sense of security, not to mention how handsome he looks. This wave of blood earned. For a moment, I didn't know who to envy." Chatting and chatting, one night passed. The master bedroom door was open, but Chen Bing went to the restroom midway and didn't close it. At this moment, with a creak, Wearing a pair of panda eyes, Chen Bing saw the barrage wildly flashing. Looking back, Jiang Zixiu, who had arrived at the living room, happened to be exposed in the camera. "Senior, are you awake?" Chen Bing quickly greeted. Jiang Zixiu nodded slightly and sat down by the window, facing the rising sun. The sunlight shone on his face. "Anchor, go and ask, what happened yesterday?" "Yeah. Although we know that monster, we still don't know what's going on with that thunder that's even rougher than a human." "I don't care about that thunder, I just want to say, don't you think? This scene is simply stunning." Chen Bing couldn't help but cry and laugh. But she also admits that being handsome is really handsome. Alright, you have to make them catch their breath, right? Oh, by the way, was that big brother still there yesterday?" She pointed to Jiang Zixiu's figure behind her and whispered, "I'll have the senior come over later. I think the senior is kind-hearted and shouldn't stand idly by." 10 rockets flew past and said, "Okay." At this point, before she could speak, the barrage exploded again. In the living room, Jiang Zixiu closed his eyes. The purple aura visible to the naked eye streamed into the room from the east window, lingering around him, adding to his ethereal demeanor. The camera captured it clearly. All the audience saw this scene. Is this purple energy coming from the east? Misty grass. Wife, come out and see the immortals. What is this? Can anyone explain in a scientific way what the purple aura around the handsome guy is? Also, still floating. Watching the ascent early in the morning. Exciting, did I encounter this scene as soon as I arrived? What about the agreement that after the founding of the People's Republic of China, one should not become refined? Do you think this profession is like being cultivated after the founding of the People's Republic of China? Chen Bing, whose back was facing the door, didn't pay attention at first, but when he saw the barrage, his eyes widened and he couldn't wait to turn around. Sure enough, the extremely faint yet clear purple aura surged around Jiang Zixiu's side, while he sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, his hands clenching, and his expression was very calm. My goodness! Chen Bing was dumbfounded, but immediately covered his mouth, afraid of disturbing this unfathomable senior expert. After a moment, Jiang Zixiu opened his eyes. Just as Chen Bing was about to speak, he saw the strands of purple energy that seemed to be alive, instantly merging into his body. What's wrong? Jiang Zixiu couldn't help but ask as he looked at Chen Bing's surprised gaze. Chen Bing hesitated and said, "No, it's nothing." And at this point, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room has once again reached its climax. Everyone stared at this scene in amazement. Purple air coming from the east. To breathe spiritual energy. Well, it won't still be fake, will it? End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Pressure Bed. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Pressure Bed, absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This. The cultivation novel does not deceive me. Purple energy is coming from the east. I think this person may be a real big shot. Anchor, how did you actually get to know this person? Even if it's the script, I agree with it. If the special effects can be made like this, at least it was done with a heart, sent by plane. I'll follow one too. In just 1 minute, Chen Bing scattered and calculated that the gift could probably be tens of thousands. Thank you, big brothers. Chen Bing was very excited, and at this moment she felt that bringing back that mysterious expert was really not wrong. I have already helped her earn tens of thousands of dollars before encountering any evil sects. Who are you talking to? After Jiang Zixiu finished adjusting his breath, he turned around curiously and asked. 1,000 years, the world has changed too much. Even if his mind was exposed, he couldn't find the person who was talking to Chen Bing. At first, he thought it was a stroke of evil, but just thinking about it, if there was any evil that could hide his thoughts, so this world is basically hopeless. Chen Bing said, "Senior, I'm live streaming." Speaking of which, she patted her head and remembered that Jiang Zixiu had said yesterday that he still wanted to continue his cultivation. He must be an extraordinary expert, and it is normal for him to not understand technological products. So she pointed to the computer screen and continued to explain, "This is called a computer, After pondering for a moment, I still didn't know how to describe it, so I had to say, maybe others can see us through this thing. Jiang Zixiu frowned slightly. What's wrong, senior? Don't you want to be seen? Chen Bing said cautiously, if you don't want it, I can turn off the live broadcast. She can still distinguish between sesame and watermelon. If Jiang Zixiu leaves because of such a small profit, then it is really a loss of blood. Don't turn it off. Yesterday was just a 1.1 meal, do you still want to continue eating today, Anchor? Yeah. I finally saw the little brother's face, don't turn it off. Soon, another pile of gifts came out. It's okay, it's not just passive. Jiang Zixiu's eyebrows relaxed. He thought someone was monitoring here. Since it's proactive, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it is expected that there will be at most some ordinary people with flat heads, and even if they are seen, his breathing problems will not be very big. What Jiang Zixiu didn't know was that the others mentioned by Chen Bing were not just a small group of people in the early hours of the morning, there were only tens of thousands of people in the live broadcast room, but when Jiang Zixiu appeared, especially the scene of purple energy coming from the east was broadcasted, and many viewers came in admiration. At present, the number of viewers in Chen Bing's live broadcast room has reached nearly 1 million. Moreover, Jiang Zixiu also had a glimpse of the speed of internet transmission. By the way, senior, a person who just saw you through live streaming has recently encountered a cult and would like to ask for advice. Would it be convenient for you? Seeing that Jiang Zixiu didn't care, Chen Bing finally breathed a sigh of relief. Then, recalling the wealthy elder brother, he asked. Jiangzhou. In a villa. A young man in his 20s looked excited and stared at the computer screen in front of him with wide eyes. Finally. Rockets are not for nothing. Finally, someone can solve their own problem. As long as everything I saw yesterday wasn't special effects, the young man can be certain that the problems he has encountered recently can definitely be solved. Oh. Jiang Zixiu approached Chen Bing with great interest and looked at the computer screen with a curious gaze. If you encounter any problems, you can talk about them, he said. A bullet screen with special effects flashed across the screen, very eye-catching. Senior, recently when I'm sleeping, I've been encountering ghosts pressing down on my bed. I can still vaguely see a figure pushing open the door and walking towards me. That figure gets closer to my bed every night. The scariest thing was the night before yesterday. The day before yesterday, he finally walked to the bedside, his hair scattered over his face, and he couldn't see his face clearly. He grabbed my neck with his hand. After struggling to wake up, I turned on the light and realized that there were really 5 pale finger marks on my neck. The young people are becoming more and more detailed, and without realizing it, the other bullet comments have disappeared. Countless viewers in front of the screen were shivering, feeling goosebumps all over their bodies. Waiting for young people to speak. The barrage once again became active. Did you make a mistake with the time? It's only early morning now. I've taken it, shouldn't this be a joke? I have also encountered ghosts pressing on the bed. The scientific explanation is that it belongs to a symptom of sleep paralysis. How could it be as evil as this brother said? As the other audience members were all skeptical, the young man became anxious and cursed. If I had a lie, I would have been hit and killed by a car when I went out today. No. One day when I went out, I would have been hit and killed by a car, that kind of mess. Speak this out. Many viewers fell silent. A large part of modern young people are completely free from taboos. But believe it or not, who would curse themselves for a joke or a script with such a vicious curse. Chen Bing swallowed his saliva and felt that choosing to be a supernatural anchor was a wrong choice. Knowing that there has been an increase in supernatural phenomena recently, and also knowing that there are tigers in the mountains leaning towards Tiger Mountain travel, alright, I believe you. Jiang Zixiu looked at the barrage after barrage and finally spoke up. So, Senior, are there any ways to resolve this? It's very simple. Either the figure in your dream has a causal relationship with you, and no one can help. You can only find a way to resolve it on your own. Jiang Zixiu didn't take it seriously. He didn't think much of what others thought was terrifying. So, what can I think of? The young people in front of the computer screen are almost crying. Find the source and think about what heinous things you have done. If not, then you should encounter someone who is looking for a replacement for the dead. This will be much easier to solve, and any expert can help you. Jiang Zixiu said easily. These words gave the young man hope once again. So, then, Senior, you. Jiang Zixiu casually asked, where are you? Jiangzhou. He turned his gaze to Chen Bing. Chen Bing, who was quick-witted, quickly understood the meaning and said, Jiangzhou is 1 or 2,000 kilometers away from us. Oh, it's 3 or 4,000 miles. 3 or 4,000 miles. Then I can't help. Jiang Zixiu shook his head. For him, the divine ability of shrinking to an inch was effortless, and after crossing the tribulation, it was not a fantasy to swim towards the North Sea and the dusk of the Kangwu. But now, after all, he has just left the level and his condition has not yet recovered. What can he do for him? Heart is surplus, but strength is insufficient. By the way, you said the figure pinched your neck the night before yesterday. What about yesterday? Jiang Zixiu suddenly thought of something and asked. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Public Opinion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Public Opinion. Yesterday, I called many friends to accompany me and stayed up all night, which is why I saw your heroic performance in slaying demons and eliminating demons, Senior. Jiang Zixiu smiled and shook his head gently. Okay, although I can't help you much, I can still let you avoid tonight. You can contact me tonight. What's your name? He turned around and looked at Chen Bing. Chen Bing. Emotions, after a night, do seniors still not know their names? Chen Bing. Jiang Zixiu. Jiang Zixiu nodded and said, do you have any other ways to contact each other? It may not be possible in time, so it's best to communicate in real time. Yeah, there's a phone call. After a brief phone call with Jiang Zixiu, Chen Bing finally remembered that he was still live streaming. He first exchanged contact information with the tycoons who came to seek help, and then made an appointment to contact them later. Then, she downloaded the broadcast. I didn't sleep all night and felt tired. And Jiang Zixiu did nothing all day, just quietly absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. On the internet. After a whole night, coupled with the scene of purple energy coming from the east in the early morning, Chen Bing's live broadcast room became completely popular. Weibo, Moments, Jiba, and Forum without exception, everyone is forwarding yesterday's video of Jiang Zixiu riding the thunder. Many first-time netizens are confused. What do I rely on? Is this a domestic special effect? Is the domestic special effect done so well now? It's outrageous. Hollywood blockbusters don't even exaggerate like that. Thunder, good guy. Don't you think that monster's voice is really terrifying? I've heard it 3 times, and although it's completely different from traditional horror sound effects, it gives you a creepy feeling that makes you shiver in the heart. What a brave warrior upstairs. How dare you listen to it 3 times? I'm scared to pee when I listen to it once. The real warrior upstairs +1. By the way, does anyone know which movie's trailer it is? I'm a bit looking forward to it. This special effect and the plot are also worth watching. Yeah, no one knows. Just as a group of people were questioning, several viewers in the live broadcast room stood up. You may not believe it, but this is the scene from last night's live broadcast. What kind of thing? Live streaming. Yes, it was captured by a spirit scouting anchor, and the full video link is in her live broadcast room. Oh, by the way, there's another one coming from the east this morning. If you're interested, you can go and take a look. The meaning is, are these all true? Nowadays, internet celebrities are really using all means to make a name for themselves. It's like rubbing netizens' intelligence on the ground. With this special effect, can't we make a good movie? Well, I don't believe it. A team that can produce such excellent special effects wouldn't have the boss's investment. The two groups of people on the internet are arguing fiercely. Some people firmly believe that everything they see is a special effect, and another part constantly clarifies that Jiang Zixiu is a true extraordinary expert. The louder it is, the faster the heat surges. Quickly, the topic of #YouLeiZhuYao hashtag surged to the top 10. Many unknown people also learned about this matter and joined the debate after watching the video. However, there was a constant clamor. The audience in that part of the live broadcast room also began to feel that something was not quite right. Is there really someone who can handle lightning? Upon closer examination, it is true that what another group of people said is more in line with common sense. Slowly, only a small group of people on the internet are still persistently resisting, but their voices have clearly been suppressed. Until a big V account with a large number of fans on the internet came forward, that small group of people finally chose to give up. Driving thunder. I don't know why this topic is so hot. A discerning person can tell at a glance that he is just a clown trying to please the public. I have already asked my ancestor, Lei Fa is a thing that only exists in legends. Probably, if it were 1,000 years ago, could someone really do it? But today, I can responsibly tell everyone that yesterday's video was just a scam. I didn't want to come forward at first, but many netizens teased me, and the young people in the video recited it. It was indeed my Taoist curse, tarnishing my Taoist reputation. That's how I can't bear it anymore. I hope everyone can keep their eyes open and believe in science. This is a legal society, where are there any ghosts, snakes, or gods? This Big V has over 500,000 fans, big and small, on microwaves. The account name is Xianqin Daoren. Although it may not seem like there are many fans with over 500,000 followers, we need to consider the historical background. Nowadays, there are not many people who believe in these things. Plus, those fans who can easily reach hundreds or millions. Who knows how many are alive? But Xianqin Daoist is different, at least he has never bought zombie powder himself. As the first disciple of the leader of Qingqing Mountain, he often posts some daily lives of monks on the internet. With curiosity about this mysterious culture, it gradually attracted some fans. After all, he can also be considered a true kung fu person. After Xianqin Daoren finished posting on Weibo, the last part of the netizens who believed in Jiang Zixiu also withdrew and remained silent. There's no way, one is a well-known Taoist expert, and the other. Judging from that, he has a certain temperament, but as the saying goes, he can't handle things without his hair on his mouth. I'll just say it. It must be a special effect. Don't you believe it yet? TSK, where is the person who just spoke? Stand up. Laughing and vomiting, if you have a bit of a brain. I won't say anything more, you taste it, you savor it carefully. Many people began to mock and mock. Only one person, feeling uneasy, still chose to believe in Jiang Zixiu. It's the young man who encountered the ghost pressing the bed. There's nothing he can do, he has no other choice. He can't find a group of people to watch him sleep every day, can he? Others are willing, but he can't get used to it himself. When Chen Bing opened the live broadcast room at night, he was immediately startled. The number of online users has increased again. She sleeps all day and goes out to eat when she wakes up. She really doesn't have time to watch the internet. As for Jiang Zixiu, it's even more impossible. How could he have this leisure time? Hello everyone. Chen Bing first greeted the audience in the live broadcast room. I thought it would be as harmonious and loving as during the day, but who knew there were curses in the barrage? Liar, have you figured out the script for tonight's show? I'm quite curious. If we get some special effects every time we live stream, we'll spend a lot of money, right? Too much money burns us up. What do you know? I estimate that this account has garnered at least 100,000 followers in just 2 days, yesterday and today. The wool is on the sheep. Don't be so malicious. Although the script is poor, the special effects are beautiful. Anyway, I'm proud of it for nothing. Chen Bing was startled and also felt extremely aggrieved. What's going on here, exactly? End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Telephone. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 7. Scam. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Scam. Now on the phone, it's Chen Bing. The young man was stunned. The one who was chatting with me just now, not right. He reacted. Today during the day, I only gave Chen Bing a phone number. How did she contact the landline in the villa? Swallowing his saliva, the young man unconsciously moved away and answered the phone. Hello. The voice on the other end of the phone was a clear male voice, no different from that of a landline. Yes, are you a senior? The young man trembled and said. As he spoke, his gaze still occasionally turned towards the landline. I guess so. Don't waste your time. If I guess correctly, there should be other people in your villa, right? Keep a distance from them. Ah. This suggestion is exactly the same as what was said on the landline. What situation is this? Anyway, at least one of the two sides is a ghost, and now the statement is the same, shouldn't it be? Both sides are, right. The young man who was startled by this idea turned pale and at a loss. Since that thing has been staring at you for so many days, it will definitely not give up easily. I guess if we continue to find someone to guard it, he may attach himself to someone to deal with you. So, remember to keep a distance from them tonight. Sure enough. Exactly the same. The young man became even more panicked and stuttered, so, what should we do next? Should we drive them away? Nanping County. Jiang Zixiu frowned and drove away. How could he have such foolish ideas? If you drive people away, what should you do if that thing continues to invade your dreams? As long as everyone stays, that thing's way of doing things should not be able to deal with so many people. If he is attached to someone, he will not rashly change his goal. As long as he keeps a distance from you, others are safe. Remember, never be alone. Also, never be alone with anyone. Also, remember to keep the doors and windows open, so that you can easily escape in case of accidents. If anything unexpected happens, please contact me promptly. After tonight, it's best for you to quickly search for someone with cultivation nearby to help you. After Jiang Zixiu finished giving his advice, he found that the other person was silent. He shook his phone and asked Chen Bing, why can't I hear him speak? Is this thing broken? Chen Bing took the phone and looked at it in confusion, confirming that the phone had not been accidentally hung up by Jiang Zixiu. He was also puzzled. I don't know, why don't you hang up and call back? As soon as I finished speaking, on the other end of the phone, I heard the sound of things falling and the hurried running sound. Jiangzhou, in a villa. The young man's goosebumps stood up after listening, and a cold current pierced his head from his coccyx. Leave people behind. Are the doors and windows open? After looking at the empty villa and then at the door blocked by mahogany chairs, the young man wanted to cry without tears. And at this moment, The landline machine placed on the table emitted a strange laughter of. The laughter grew louder and more urgent. Immediately afterwards, he saw a scene that he could never forget in his lifetime. Only see. From the microphone, a lifelike ink liquid flowed out, slowly forming a humanoid shape in distortion. When people are in extreme fear, their bodies become stiff, and young people want to speak but cannot speak. I wanted to escape, but my legs and feet were completely at a loss. Finally. As they were about to completely transform into adults, the young man finally regained his mobility and fled towards the second floor in a rolling manner. When he ran away, he didn't forget to hold his phone. Tightly closing the door and leaning against the door with his body, the young man breathed a sigh of relief as he was about to speak when he heard a loud bang. At the same time, the door behind him shook violently. He struggled to look up and saw 2 bloody fingerprints appearing on the glass in the upper half of the door. Ah! He instinctively screamed. What's going on? The phone, which had been tightly held in hand, once again heard Jiang Zixiu's voice. The young man spoke at a rapid pace with a crying voice. That thing pretended to be you calling and asking me to drive everyone out. It even made me block the door, and I followed suit. On the other end of the phone, there was silence. Jiang Zixiu didn't know what to say for a while. Senior, what should I do now? It's hitting the door now. I can't hold on anymore. On the other side. Jiang Zixiu sighed and looked at Chen Bing, saying, I'm going out. In which direction is Jiangzhou? Chen Bing let out an, ah. Jiangcheng. Senior, you definitely won't have time to rush over now. It's okay. Jiang Zixiu shook his head and said, you just need to tell me the direction and distance. Wait, I'll check. Got it, southwest direction, it should be over 4,200 miles, but I don't know the exact location. Chen Bing knew the situation was urgent and quickly checked it on the computer. Okay, I got it. Jiang Zixiu stood up and slightly moved his muscles and bones, muttering to himself, cause and effect. I used to help him pass tonight's cause and effect, but you actually acted under my name. I haven't encountered such a bold monster in a long time. On the computer screen, a series of question marks. What? Jiangzhou. If I remember correctly, he's in Nanping County now, right? What does this person want? I guess the one on the phone is also an actor. Just listening to the voice and acting skills are really strong, even I was scared. Keep reading, as I've said before, even the script in this live broadcast room is definitely very interesting and I won't regret it. I'm just a little curious now. What is he planning to do? Nanping County is more than 2,000 kilometers away from Jiangzhou. Is it difficult for him to fly over? Misty grass. This his mother. What is it? The audience in the live broadcast room was stunned. In the room. Jiang Zixiu stood up and took a step in the air, with lotus flowers blooming under his feet. Lotus grows step by step. Next, step 2. Just 2 steps, but the whole person has disappeared from the room. Chen Bing is also foolish. The next moment, she hurried to the window and saw Jiang Zixiu walking in the air outside. Meanwhile, many people in Nanping County accidentally witnessed this scene. UFO. Aliens. Immortals cultivators. Wife, come out and see the immortals. Ah. What's wrong with you? Really? Forget it, it's okay. In just a few seconds, Jiang Zixiu's figure completely disappeared from Nanping County. In the villas of Jiangzhou, young people are already desperate. The phone went silent, and the force of the object outside the door hitting the door grew stronger and stronger. Even if he gritted his teeth and persisted, the door was pushed open with a narrow crack. Subsequently, strands of coldness emanated from within the cracks. The young man instinctively turned around and saw black liquid flowing into the room through the cracks, and the chill was also brought about by this black liquid. My biological clock has been unstable lately, so I can only maintain 2 shifts. I'll go take a nap and wake up. I'll continue coding, end of this chapter. Chapter 8. Thunder falling in Jiangzhou. You are listening at novel full.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 9. I exposed. You are listening at novel full.audio. Chapter 9. I exposed. Jiangzhou is at least a first-tier city, and the number of residents is never small. Millions or even millions, there are still some. The thunderous roar just now woke up the whole city. Among them, the younger people spontaneously started roast about what had happened earlier on the network. It is not surprising that the popularity is rapidly increasing under a large base. And the netizens in Chen Bing's live broadcast room are not sleeping at this point, so of course, it is impossible to just watch the live broadcast. Many netizens in live streaming rooms have seen the huge waves on the internet. Oh my goodness, did the person just say they went to Jiangzhou? It seems so. It's unbelievable. Is it difficult to achieve? Is that rare wonder that has been seen for 100 years really related to him? Otherwise, how could there be such a coincidence? Brothers, my family lives in Jiangzhou, and you really didn't see that scene. It was so shocking. Heaven and earth turned into thunder pools, and a thunderbolt fell less than 10 meters outside my house, but not even the nearby tree was struck. It's like that thunder spotted an invisible target and went straight for it. Hiss. So, what do you mean is that the thunderstorms in Jiangzhou may be man-made? No, it's impossible. After thinking about it, how strong is this person who can envelop the entire city in thunder? Even if that person is a cultivator, it's impossible. I thought the last time driving thunder and electricity was unbelievable enough, but if he really did what happened in Jiangzhou. Don't stop me. I'll go to Nanping County to pay my respects now. Apprentice. Why do you think they are willing to accept you? Chen Bing blinked his eyelids a few times. Not long ago, the audience in the live broadcast room was still condemning her for cheating money, saying that Jiang Zixiu was a scammer. Now that less than 5 minutes have passed, how has there been such a big change in her tone? With doubts in mind, she opened her phone and clicked on Weibo. The top trending topic is #Jiangzhou thunderstorm hashtag. Pointing into this topic, photos from different angles and videos from different angles completely shook Chen Bing. How long has the senior just left? 3 minutes. 5 minutes. It's not as fast as flying to Jiangzhou. In addition, this thunder envelopes a city, and thousands of thunder dragons fall together. Is this really something that humans can do? Even Chen Bing is starting to have some doubts now. Mainly, it's a bit unbelievable. It may seem unrealistic to call for wind and rain, but for Xia people, after experiencing so much baptism from film and television literature, it is not that difficult to accept, but this matter is a bit exaggerated. I dare not shoot movies like this. It is said that art originates from life and is higher than life. Chen Bing believes that perhaps reality is more magical. At this point, she suddenly heard a commotion. Looking back, at some point, Jiang Zixiu had already returned, and Shi Shiran stood in the room. Senior, have you returned? Chen Bing immediately stood up and respectfully gave up his position. Jiang Zixiu stood there, and if she continued to sit casually, it really felt like she was on pins and needles. After seeing Chen Bing's gesture, Jiang Zixiu casually sat cross-legged, coughing twice while covering his mouth with his hand. There's no way, the consumption is too high. Shrinking the land to an inch, coupled with the thunder sea covering hundreds of thousands of hectares of the entire city, it is still a bit difficult for him, who has not yet recovered to the peak. Sigh. Impulse is the devil. It's also because that thing is too excessive. Otherwise, how could someone like me, a righteous immortal, act recklessly to kill someone. Senior, are you okay? Chen Bing walked to the side with concern and gently patted Jiang Zixiu's back with his hand. It's okay, it's just a bit expensive. It will recover in a few days. Jiang Zixiu waved his hand and said, can you ask that friend if his matter has been resolved? Although there is a 90% chance that the ghost has been chopped with no residue left, just in case, we still need to ask. Has it been resolved? Mist grass. Is it really because of him? Excluding all impossibilities, the remaining results, even if they are unbelievable, are the truth. If such a century-old wonder as Jiangzhou is predicted, the authorities will definitely issue a warning in advance. Before this, no one should have heard the wind, right? Then he left here, and in less than 5 minutes, Jiangzhou began to thunder. I'm sorry, I was careless. By the way, what about the group of people online who claim to be definitely fake? After seeing the online discussion, Chen Bing smiled brightly and said to Jiang Zixiu, Senior, did you just go to Jiangzhou? In such a big scene, if the tycoon in the live broadcast room hasn't survived yet, besides counting him unlucky, Chen Bing doesn't know what to say. It's fate, there's nothing to say. The key now is to extract some information from this unfathomable senior. Although accepting reality, I ultimately did not receive a definite answer, and everything ultimately turned out to be just speculation from netizens. Not bad. Jiang Zixiu smiled and said, that wicked beast, acting under my name, must personally go there. So, Senior, did you also make the thunder of Jiangzhou? Thunder. Jiang Zixiu nodded first and then asked in confusion, how did you know about a distance of thousands of miles? Upon hearing his question, Chen Bing smiled bitterly and helplessly handed over his phone, saying, don't talk to me anymore. I guess the whole country will know tomorrow. Looking at the pictures taken from various angles on the screen, Jiang Zixiu was stunned. Mist grass. What's going on? Chen Bingming is in Nanping County, why can he see what happened in Jiangzhou? And there are also pictures from various angles. Just like experiencing it firsthand. Not right. She just said, tomorrow, the whole country knows. Jiang Zixiu took a deep breath and forced himself to remain calm. Do you mean that everyone has seen the scene in Jiangzhou? That's right. Chen Bingli naturally said, and the video of you catching demons yesterday, Senior, has already become popular on the internet. Before, some people thought you were a scammer. What else can they say today? A scammer. Jiang Zixiu held a hint of luck and said, so. How do they know it's related to me? Definitely, Senior, you asked me about the location of Jiangzhou in front of hundreds of thousands of people, and then stepped on the lotus flower to go out. In less than 5 minutes, a rare thunderstorm that has been around for 100 or even 1,000 years came to Jiangzhou. How could it have nothing to do with you? How many people? Hundreds of thousands. Jiang Zixiu was even more confused. He always thought that a so-called live broadcast would only be watched by a few people or dozens of people privately, but who knows, hundreds of thousands of people. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Internet Sensation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Internet Sensation. Jiang Zixiu doesn't really like the idea of becoming a saint in front of others. 1,000 years ago, his experience had already taught him that when a practitioner is famous, it is difficult to concentrate on cultivation. All kinds of worldly affairs will inevitably find him. So this time when he went out of the mountain, he just wanted to find a place with rich spiritual energy to practice secretly. Even if there were occasional demons, it wouldn't hinder him from slaying and eliminating them. Chen Bing's home is a great place. Nanping County is already remote, but its spiritual energy is very strong, at least enough to maintain his cultivation. Who knows? Who the hell would think? After leaving the border, he has been staying here for secret cultivation, and the only time he went out to Jiangzhou to subdue demons caused a storm in the city. Have you seen it all over the country? Jiang Zixiu looked wooden and said, "If I say that the matter in Jiangzhou has nothing to do with me, do you believe it?" Chen Bing shook his head sincerely. After a long sigh, Jiang Zixiu raised his hand, covered his lips, and said weakly, "Actually, that was just an accident. The Jiangzhou incident has nothing to do with me. Do you think I have the ability to shrink to an inch?" In the live broadcast room, water enthusiasts watched the scene before them, and the barrage once again flashed on the screen. "Ha ha ha, I'm laughing to death. So that kind of magical ability is called shrinking to an inch. Senior, could you tell me again what a spell that can envelop the entire Jiangzhou is called? Others are reluctant to admit such things. Why do seniors still extrapolate? I guess this is an extraordinary expert." Chen Bing smiled foolishly and said, I understand everything. Everything is just a misunderstanding, and it has nothing to do with you, senior." The barrage also followed suit. Yes, we all understand, it's all a coincidence. By the way, senior, since you can shrink your ground to an inch, when will you come to our Suzhou city to play? No, come to our mountain city. Why don't we come to Huizhou first? I've been experiencing quite a few supernatural phenomena lately and I'm in urgent need of thunderstorms to wash the floor. Seeing the barrage of bullets, Jiang Zixiu completely gave up his struggle and silently left the master bedroom, returning to his room to cross his knees and breathe. Don't leave. Can the anchor call someone back? I'll give you a gift. Do you think I have so much face to call back my senior? Chen Bing sat down in the chair and smiled. Actually, I'm a talent anchor in my old profession. Why don't I sing a song for everyone? Pull you down, no one wants to see you sing. Yeah, you've been thinking about it. With so many beautiful and talented anchors, I'm missing one of you. When will it take us to broaden our horizons again? Are there any other cult places near Nanping County? If it were another anchor, I might advise you to take it easy, but Sister Bing, with your thick thighs around you, how could you not broaden our horizons? At this moment, the phone rang. Chen Bing saw that the note was "Rich Brother," and immediately understood. He answered the phone and said, "Hello. Have you resolved the matter there?" The young man on the other end of the phone had a complex expression, hesitating to speak. In the end, he couldn't help but ask, "I just entered your live broadcast room. Where's the senior?" Harmful, he went back to his room. It seems that the senior doesn't want to reveal his identity, so he made a trip to Jiangzhou in front of hundreds of thousands of people this time. Did you really become a senior just now? Otherwise, do you think there will be an inexplicable thunderstorm in your area? The young people were completely convinced. Weibo. The heat of this thunderstorm is getting higher and higher. Not only did netizens from Jiangzhou participate, but many young people who stayed up late joined in this carnival. Among them, the most passionate was the audience in Chen Bing's live broadcast room. Do you dare to believe it? I used to watch the scammers in your mouths walk through the air step by step, and less than 5 minutes after he left, a thunderstorm fell in Jiangzhou. Who said he's a scammer again? To be honest, I'm really convinced to leave for 5 minutes. At first, he thought that calling for wind and rain was already his limit, but he didn't expect to be able to summon a thunder pit that would cover the entire city. Indeed, reality is far more shocking than the script. Many people are confused when they see this. During the day, the heat of the entire network condemning Jiang Zixiu had not yet passed, but who knew that such a big turning point could occur at night? Are you saying that the thunder was caused by that scammer? Are you still a scammer? Think for yourself. He left the room for 5 minutes, and then Jiangzhou witnessed a once-in-a-century wonder. Yeah. With such a big thunderstorm, if the weather forecast observes it, it will definitely remind the people of Jiangzhou to take precautions. Do you think this is just a coincidence? Or is it that so many photos and videos online are all special effects, and so many netizens in Jiangzhou are all entrusted by him? silent. Those netizens who firmly believe that Jiang Zixiu is a fraud were scolded on the spot and speechless. But even now, there are still many people who don't believe all of this. 9 years of compulsory education tell them that there are no ghosts or gods in the world. Originally, this viewpoint was correct. In the era of the end of the Dharma, where did there come any evil spirits and heretics? Monsters also require spiritual energy to cultivate. But now it's different. Spiritual energy recovery, demons and ghosts are far more aware of this than humans. In other words, in fact, they have no consciousness, but simply, their IQ is getting higher and higher, and they unconsciously swallow the essence of the sun and the moon, and then cultivate a supernatural power. But what about modern humans? There is no such condition. The hardworking social animals are busy with work every day, while the tycoons are busy with lights, wine, and greenery. So far, apart from the official, no one in the public has realized this. Of course, in the eyes of the authorities, they don't think too much, they just think that practicing martial arts is easier. As for the rest, for thousands of years, the true scriptures of cultivation have long been lost, and picking stars, holding the moon, and summoning wind and rain have become legends. Who would have thought of that? Many netizens have mentioned the Taoist master who led the way in scolding Jiang Zixiu during the day. Xianchen Taoist. On Qingqing Mountain. A middle-aged Taoist with a bun on his head was dressed in a simple Taoist robe, but the smart phone in his hand was unusually out of place. At this moment, the phone kept ringing. He opened his phone screen in confusion and saw one private message after another with a hint of humor. Taoist, didn't you say that person was a scammer? Taoist, I heard you think they insulted the Taoist family's Dharma curse. When can you also perform one? Taoist, I heard that. The middle-aged Taoist looked confused. What exactly happened? He didn't rush to reply, he first went to the internet to see what had happened recently, and then suddenly realized. A thunder pit covering the entire Jiangzhou. What a joke. He sneered at the corner of his mouth and said, netizens, what are you thinking? Do you really think that rare astronomical phenomenon is human-made? End of this chapter.